Hey everyone, Indieadam here, and happy day to you. Today we're going to be discussing one of my favorite things, or actually, I should say three of my favorite things, and they are three clips from three of the films that I have directed. We're going to watch the clips, and then we're going to talk about them on the other side and how important they were and why I picked the three that I did. So, without further ado, check out this clip here for the horrific evil monsters, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you want, because we do that too.
Anna, I'm Mick.
What the hell is going on here?
Well, why don't I tell you what I do? I work for an agency that deals with incidents.
Why is that guy wearing a mask?
Well, because you're contagious.
Then where's yours?
Well, I don't need one.
Thought I was contagious.
Not to me. By the way, I was really impressed with how you handled yourself back there.
Yeah, well, that thing just came at me like I was getting ready to close and he just busted in here and bit me. I don't even...
Anna, I've reviewed your file. Runaway at 13, shoplifting in juvie by 14, fighting, Grand Theft Auto, Mercedes S650. Excellent choice, by the way. You were good, very good, actually. But then you got out. You changed. Well, at least that's what they told me. But I knew you could prove them wrong.
Wait, what? Who are you?
You see, we're working on this serum. It brings the dead back to life. But the problem is that the results have been unstable when administered to the already dead. So you see, we needed to test it on the living. We just needed to find the right subject.
Subject?
Yes. Someone strong, a fighter, a survivor. Someone who could really handle themselves. And someone who doesn't have any ties. You don't have any family, do you, Anna? No one's gonna come looking for you. You see, Anna, you're going to die.
Okay, look, I don't know what the hell is going on here. Or who
Anna,
you are.
calm down. Within a few hours, you're going to be what he was. Well, not exactly. You're going to be something better, something stronger, or sharper. Anna, you're going to be unstoppable.
Wait, what are you saying? Then I'm gonna die?
Think of it more as a rebirth, a metamorphosis. You see, we really need you, Anna. There's a war coming, and we are going to need you.
Now, the reason I picked this clip is because I absolutely loved the coloring in the Horrific Evil Monsters. And this scene alone specifically talks about and shows and demonstrates how important to me as a director and artist that your characters' costumes are properly fit. I remember doing this scene, and originally the big gentleman with the yellow outfit on that's standing behind Kaylee Williams' character, he wasn't there. So I thought the scene needed more to it, like somebody was watching her while waiting for the captain of the team, Mick, to come and basically recruit her into the movie. And I loved this character. This is actually my favorite character I've ever written. And there was another scene actually written with this character that ended up getting scrapped, but it would have connected into what I call, or what the film Prisoners of the Dead. Prisoners of the Dead was another film that I did many years earlier in trying to universe build that the scene included Anna's character and Mick being compassionate enough to allow her to go back to her house to grab one more thing. I can't remember what the item was at the moment, but oh no, it wasn't an item. It was to say goodbye to her sister. And as she's saying goodbye to her sister, she accidentally scratches her. And then that would have led into the segue for Prisoners of the Dead and everything else. Because, spoiler alert, Anna is dead. She's a zombie in the movie. Kaylee Williams and I had been talking for many years about how we could create together. And, there were various roles that Kaylee had spoken about and actually talked about with me over the years. But it came to this specific role that really spoke to me and to her. Now, let me tell you a little backstory about this scene here. This scene features a group of us, but there's probably altogether there that day 10 people, maybe 12. And you'll notice the plastic. The plastic obviously is scene decoration to quarantine the Anna character. However, we had no heat. So the production had no heat because we shot this in like February or March, couldn't even been January of the year of shooting it. And you know, Kaylee was very cold. You could see the outfit she's wearing. So we had to like heat her up and stuff. We had one electric heater and one kerosene heater, which we probably shouldn't have been using inside of a building, but whatever. It's done now, right? Safety first, people. Safety first. With that being said, Kaylee delivers a master class in her performance in this scene, and between the look, the acting, the actor, the scene, all that. So back to the heat. We had to keep her warm. So that plastic, when you watch the scene open up, they kind of like I like it to call it the curtain. The curtain opens. Well, in this case, yeah, the curtain does open in an extent, but that whole room is surrounded by plastic. So it heated up pretty nicely after a while. We actually had to turn it off at times because it was getting a little too warm. But originally, that yellow guy, the big tall guy there, his name's Chris Drexel. He was not supposed to be in there. I mentioned that before. So like the week before, we production rushed to try to find an outfit that would work for the scene, quarantine, wearing a mask, all that stuff. And the line was eventually added, why is he wearing a mask? Because you're contagious, but he's so like intimidating, and he looks authentic. Again, going back to the costumes, um, I will let you know that that ground was freezing. So we could not have an actor or an actress actually sit um, or lay for any length of time on the actual flooring. So what we did was um, we used a stunt body. So Phil Beath, our makeup artist and guru extraordinaire, um, allowed us to use one of his props, and he had a body bag for it because he works at a haunted house in his, fun time, if that does exist anymore. And I remember writing this scene being one of my favorite scenes to ever write. I wrote it with my wife. We were camping. It was just a magical, awesome experience to share with somebody. I mean, we spared no expense. If you look at the contacts and the makeup of it all, she looks legit, and continues to look legit throughout the entire film as she progresses into this decomposition. Um, but yeah, I love this scene. I love it. And we're not going to go through the whole scene. You should check it out, though. Um, and there's a scene where he rips off the bandage, so to speak. When he rips off the bandage and you see that close up of that grittiness, it's pretty cool. Just gonna say it's pretty cool. But yeah, that is my thoughts on the Horrific Human Monsters and why I picked this scene. It actually right now is the leading favorite scene, I think, for me, in all of my work. Regardless of what you believe about the film, I think that this scene is this is some of my best work. I absolutely love the name tag as well on Anna. You know, it just gives more character to the character throughout the whole film. She's just wearing the name tag. She wears that's like her costume, her superhero-ish costume. Another reason why this, besides my wife, of course, and us doing the script together and then the shooting this film and everything that I've already explained. But during Christmas, I actually got a Funko Pop made of Anna, which became so important to me because how authentic it was impressive. It all the way down to the name tag because my wife knew how important the name tag was in pre-production that we had it for Kaylee Williams's character. So that is my story for the Horrific Evil Monsters. Let's move on to another one, and we'll talk about that. So the next scene that we're going to watch together is probably one of well, let me just say this, was my all-time favorite scene until the Anna scene came along. And today you get a really cool thing because you get a bonus, so to speak, because I'm going to show you a new scene that I just absolutely love after this one. But this scene is so important to me because, first off, the quality, first off, the acting, continuing with the writing on this. I did not write this entire scene myself. I won't take credit for the entirety of it, but it was a partner of mine, Terry Kimmel, that wrote it, but I brought it to life. We rented a police car, and I mean, this is like authentic. We even have the Metzburgh on the driver's license as well. So this is a real important scene to me, and I want you to check it out, and then we'll talk about it on the other side.
Whoa, whoa, hey, whoa, whoa, partner. How you doing, Haley? What'd you do to your arm?
I fell.
Hey, did it hurt? Hey, how about I give you a ride home? Did you like that? Bet you never rode in a police car before, have you? Yeah. Come on, let's take you home. Come on. And put you right up front. Make sure you put your seatbelt on. So I was a little surprised to see you out here all by yourself. Where's your sister? Your arm hurt? Hey, no accidents happen even when you're an adult, which is why it's always a good idea to wear your helmet. So what do you think about riding a police car? Pretty cool, huh?
Am I in trouble?
Oh, no, honey. No, you're not in trouble at all. It's just I was a little concerned seeing you out here so far from home all on your own. See, it's the sheriff's job to make sure that everybody in the town is protected. You're not in trouble at all. Hey, you want to turn on the siren?
Did you used to be my mom's boyfriend?
What? Where'd you hear that? Why do you ask?
When you came over to my house that one time. After you left, my mom and dad were yelling at each other. I was up in my room with Lucy, but they were really loud. And then Daddy said that you and Mom used to be boyfriend and girlfriend.
Oh, well, I had asked your mom to a dance in high school. I was actually surprised when she said yes.
Did you make out?
What?
Well, I overheard Lucy talking on the phone about prom and how everybody was making out afterwards.
Well, see, I just asked your mom to a dance, not the prom. Yeah, shortly after that, she met your daddy, and I was out of the picture.
Was my mom pretty in high school?
Oh yeah, she was beautiful. I was so nervous when I went to ask her out. She was actually the prettiest girl in high school. She still is very pretty, but you know that, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, let me get you home.
No, she said that you were a nice guy and that you were sweet.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Then she called Daddy a jackass for being jealous. Because you weren't her type. You were little and scrawny in high school.
Yeah, well, see, your daddy was a high school quarterback, and, okay, we're gonna get you home right now. All right. Whew.
So maybe you can see now why that has become one of my all-time favorite scenes, between the quality and between the acting. And as I mentioned before, the writing, stellar stuff. The crew we had that day was just amazing. What you can't tell off camera, to be honest with you, during this scene is the fact that we had nearly 100 and no, that's wrong, like 369 people off camera watching us shoot this scene. This is when back in the day I shot with a co-partner at that time, or a cinematographer, Christopher Brechtel, and you can see how important. I mentioned before the Metzburgh logo on the police car. I mean, we spared no expense to make this scene happen. I remember trying to ask the town of Evans if we could rent a police car, and they're like, "Yeah, go right ahead." And they definitely did a background check on me, of course, right? But I came in there, explained everything, showed them the insurance that we had and everything. Um, and what's funny is there's a scene later in Ombis where we film in a supermarket, and we actually had the police show up because there were so many cars there at night, and they were wondering why it was so busy. They stopped, and our police officer, Richard Satterwhite's character that you see in the scene that's playing currently, amazing actor. Um, he actually looked more authentic than the actual officer that came walking in. So that was, there's a picture somewhere. I'm going to see if I can't find it and show it to you right about here. Okay, so continuing with this, Erin Fitzgerald's character, she was about 13 at the time of doing this scene, and she was an up and coming actress. I really, I worked with her several times in other films, adored her as a person. She's grown up and done her own course in life, but um, I would say that this is one of my favorite things that she ever did in any type of performance. The camaraderie between the two, you can tell, it's so like connective. It's so natural. Richard showed up on set, and so did Aaron. And Aaron says to Richard, "You know your lines?" And Richard laughed, and he looked at her and he said, "Do you know yours?" And then she started reciting some of his lines. So again, the importance of how like this scene was, and this scene too is so vitally important to the sequel Ombus 2. Um, and there's so much character building in this, and that is really what I wanted to do, was make a character driven film, and then you get the creatures, the slimes, all that group of ick. But yeah, we had a street closed down during this time, and we actually have Richard driving the police car in one of the extended cuts of the film. But now you know why this is one of my favorite scenes. Now, the last scene I have for you folks today is from Ombis to Alien Awakening. Not very many people have seen this scene yet, but I want to watch it with you, give you a little tease of what's to come, and then explain it on the other side and why I chose this one. So check it out. Now, when making Ombis 2, a sequel to my most beloved film, Ombis Alien Invasion. Um, I had to study for a very long time on what I wanted to do for a story. There were so many scripts. I think at one time we had maybe almost 13 different scripts going at about, you know, this film. It didn't get till about 2021 when I started taking it seriously and started writing a new draft. There were various different drafts. One of the drafts out there involved Jason's character showing up randomly in Antarctica, but I thought it gave too much, vibes of the thing. And I was like thinking for many years, how do I go bigger than the first film? And what can I? Because we shut down streets and everything else during Ombis One. So how do you go bigger on a film that was already pretty big to start with? And this, I wanted to push myself creatively as an artist, as a storyteller. And I chose this scene because um, I would like to show and showcase how good the CGI is in the film and how much the characters interact with the CGI. So this scene returns our hero Jason John Beebe's Mark character from the first film. He is completely infected, as we can tell here. His whole one side of his body is completely looks like taken over by Ombis, and it looks like maybe he is just awoken from something, and he's looking for a top. And what I like about this is there's so many different practical things happening here. The shirt is in the scene. He grabs it, he actually picks it up, and it looks like it's actually part of the actual scene. I mean, it looks cohesive, which is probably the most important thing. And you get to see a little bit of the atmosphere of what Ombus 2 has in it, the type of quality that we're doing. And it's just super exciting to see that we've come back to this world. When we were shooting this, I mean, I mean, obviously, you probably can guess that entire set is completely digitally done. So we had to make him, Jason John Beebe's character, look more digital. So everything could be cohesive. I'm very proud of this scene because I just absolutely adore the color. I'm a big color fan. I'm also a big fan when it comes to costuming, as we talked before with Horrific Evil Monsters. And I remember Jason give me shit quite often about this, about having to wear, he called it like a dojo taekwondo suit. And I'm like, no, man, they're scrubs. They're just alien version of scrubs. And there was inspiration for all the characters in Ombus to the alien type side to be like of samurai in nature. Because who are we to tell what these creatures or beings, these humanoid type of creatures would even look like, or what their clothing may be made of. We've seen films where they're either just disgustingly horrible and all that, but what if they used fabric? What if they had the ability to use fabric just like we use fabric? And again, I took a lot of inspiration from samurais to design the Nemesis, the Mark character, which you're seeing currently, and the Obi character, which you see later on. But yeah, so you can see why I enjoy this film. Um, the other thing I wanted to address is the makeup in the film, done by Phil and Jill, the original makeup artists from Ombus 1. After months and months and months, almost a year talking to Jill, I finally was able to get her to come back on. I had talked to Phil early on, but I talked to Phil early on, but anytime you talk to Phil about making a new movie, he always takes a big gulp and you know wants to know what what is going to be in store and how big are the effects and all this crazy stuff. But it was very important to me that we met the integrity of Ombus 1 as much as humanly possible. So I wanted to bring back original of everybody, as many original people that I could. That includes the stunt choreographer, that includes some of the cast, that includes some of the crew, and most importantly, it had to be Phil and Jill that came back because those slime creatures looked as good as they did in the first film. because of the work that they put in on them together. But I will tell you, Ombis 2 has even better slime creatures. My favorite one is. All right, those are the three clips that I've chosen to kind of talk on today. If you liked what I did today in discussing this, let me know in the comments below, and maybe I can do a couple more like behind the scenes videos with a little more commentary element to them, so you as a viewer can know what we as the artists have to go through to create it. So if you're watching one of these scenes and you're like, that's shit, I hated it, I don't like it. Just remember, there was a team of people that came together to create that scene. So as much as you knock it, you can dislike it, yeah. Just be careful on the mocking, because the mocking is something that as artists we all take very personal. Um, so thanks for checking out today. Thanks for staying tuned, and make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and we'll be back again with more awesomeness to discuss.